Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is John and this is your Modern Tech Breakdown. Today I'm taking a look at the news that Google is working towards a deal to buy security startup firm Wiz. Let's jump into it. Here we have an article from the Wall Street Journal by Berber Jin and Megan Bobrowski covering this deal. Google parent Alphabet is in advanced talks to purchase Wiz for $23 billion, the Wall Street Journal reported Sunday. This could be one of the largest and fastest returns ever for a private security company in tech history, said Alex Clayton, a general partner at the venture firm Meritech Capital, which isn't a Wiz shareholder. All right, so a few questions to consider. What is Wiz? What do they offer? And why is $23 billion justified? That's a pretty big number. Let's continue on as the article gets a little bit more into the details about what Wiz does. The quartet initially called their second company Beyond Networks and focused on network security, but they soon pivoted to software that helps companies scan and identify security risks from dominant cloud platforms such as Azure and AWS, betting that customers would want more protection from the tech giants provide themselves. They named their company Wiz. Okay, so they make a product that you can plug into a cloud infrastructure provider, and then it will scan the environment and give you some assurances that you aren't missing a vulnerability through misconfiguration, etc. I'm sure it does more than that, but that seems to be the gist. I could definitely see a market for this, as there's constant headlines about large companies getting hacked by leaving some credential in a source file or misconfiguring some AWS asset. Clearly, large organizations could benefit from something like this. However, it doesn't sound all that cutting edge. I don't really see much IP in the form of patents or novel technology that would be hard to replicate. But before I speculate on how Google might use Wiz, if they were to purchase them, let's get into the price. The article has a bit more on that. For Wiz, a $23 billion sale price was irresistible. Google would value the startup at 46 times the $500 million in annual recurring revenue it currently generates. A person familiar with the matter said. By contrast, CrowdStrike, one of the most richly valued major cybersecurity firms that trades publicly, has a market capitalization 25 times its annual recurring revenue. So I think that establishes that Google would be paying a pretty high price here for this company. Let's think about that for a second. Let's pick a number, $10 billion instead of the $23 billion. Couldn't Google on their own create this themselves? Wiz does have some revenue, but surely that revenue probably either slows down or stops pretty quickly after Google buys them, unless perhaps Google continues to operate Wiz as a business as a separate entity and they continue to sell their product. It doesn't seem like they would do that. I don't know that Google has a history of doing that. But here's a quick snip from a New York Times article on the topic that possibly articulates the rationale for the deal. Thomas Kurian, the chief executive of Google Cloud, has led the push to buy Wiz, one of the people familiar with the talks said. He sought to make cybersecurity a distinguishing strength of his division, and Wiz would go a long way to helping that. The startup tries to help corporate customers, including BMW, Slack, and Morgan Stanley, reduce security threats when they use cloud computing services. I guess Google sees an opportunity to attack AWS based on security. Honestly, don't most companies have a cloud provider already? Are they really going to switch to Google for something like this? I doubt it. But perhaps companies could be persuaded to go multi-cloud, and over time, Google could chip away at AWS and Azure. But I still think that the talent that Google has, they could pretty quickly recreate the features of Wiz. And lastly, both the Wall Street Journal and New York Times articles mentioned that this deal is likely to draw regulatory scrutiny. This again would be a reason to forgo the deal and just build these features inside Google from scratch. But who knows? Maybe there's more to this than meets the eye. But regardless, that's all I have on this topic for today. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.